guys, so I was about to make a video about eco-friendly lipstick, and I was on YouTube and watched a video that EcoBoost had put out about what to do with the innards of your pumpkin, which I had also written a blog post about. So I was like, oh, maybe she has some more ideas. I can add her her vlog to my blog. And when I finished watching the video, I went to go comment to say something positive towards her, and I noticed that someone had written a very unkind comment, or angry comment, about the fact that she's not a vegan. And this is something that I've kind of talked to a lot of my friends about and my partner about, because when I'm doing this type of blogging, I always have to be kind of aware of the fact that a lot of vegans might be reading my blog and that they're very easily angered. And this sort of stereotypical angry vegan type behavior is what sort of stops me from calling myself a vegan, because I don't feel comfortable being part of that community, even though I eat vegan at home, because I sometimes do things that are outside the very strict sort of rules that vegans follow. For example, I'm wearing wool. This is a vintage wool sweater. I have no problem with wearing vintage wool. I think I share this sort of ideology of First Nations people. That's kind of what brought me into this industry in the first place, in that I feel that if the whole animal is used and treated positively throughout its life, that all of the products which come from that animal should be used. Does that mean that I think animals should be killed for meat? No. Does it mean that I hate animals? No. I house a cat, which is slumbering over there, that I'm allergic to because the cat needs a home. So I obviously don't hate animals, or I wouldn't do that. So I wanted to kind of like talk about this and just address the issue that that kind of comes with it, because I know how frustrating it is to have people who don't share my ideals celebrating things that I don't agree with. But I have realized over this 365-day series of writing about the eco lifestyle and moving myself in that direction, that being angry about things doesn't necessarily cause the type of change that I'm looking for, that I want to see in the world. And also that, with information and education, what you're doing is planting a seed, and that seed is only watered with positivity and more education. It's not watered by someone shouting at you or sort of chastising you for making a decision that doesn't align with their beliefs. And I think that is something that's really important for vegans and everybody in every situation to kind of consider when they're making comments on YouTube or on social media. I myself have had a number of comments be read wrong, where I've been frustrated with the way that somebody has written something. For example, there was a girl on Facebook from my home city who was saying, I'm from Winnipeg, Canada, which is in the middle. There's tons of fresh water. It's beautiful. It's cold. So global warming will be less, will be something that affects that city less. And this girl seemed to be celebrating the fact that Winnipeg and the people in Winnipeg would be less affected than people from other countries because of the natural resources available in the city that I come from. And I found that quite insulting, and so I reacted to it with frustration, and resulted in hurting that girl's feelings and upsetting her to the point that she's now blocked me from her Facebook account. And this is like a yoga girl who's supposed to be sort of a pillar of the conscious community, but I didn't feel that her words were aligning with the beliefs that I expect her to have. But that doesn't mean that those are the beliefs she has to have, just because I believe them and because I think that people from the yoga community should be thinking more consciously, and a lot of them aren't, and that's okay. But me sort of chastising the yoga community or calling out every single person that says things or buys products which don't align with just the word namaste in itself, doesn't encourage them to come to this side of thinking. It makes them want to sort of back away. And that's the same with veganism. The other issue I have with veganism is, again, the tight rules. I think that if you sort of are walking around with blinders on in any sort of lifestyle or any sort of facet of life, you're going to miss out on a lot of pieces of information that are important for your logic and important for expanding your beliefs and important for personal growth. And I feel that whenever you join sort of a community, even the green community, which I'm definitely a part of, that sort of having these blinders on and not allowing for discussion or other ideas or feedback doesn't allow you to grow, and it also doesn't allow you to come up with solutions to issues that people are having with that, with certain facets of the industry that you're part of. So I think that I totally lost my train of thought. So for example, I think I was just talking about wool before, but I don't believe that wearing synthetic fibers, which are dyed with chemical dyes, is better for animals or the planet as an option for vegans who don't want to wear animal fibers. There are people, and lots of people, who I blog about, making alpaca or wool garments, which are sourced from, two specifically are sourced from a farm that I've visited and I've sourced cashmere from, where the woman who runs the farm treats these goats and sheep and alpaca as if they were her own. They all have names. They are, they get hugs and exactly what you'd imagine or would hope for on a farm which is producing fibers. That doesn't mean that all wool is okay, because as I'm sure a lot of you have seen and as I've written about before, there are major, major abuses in the wool industry. And that's just a problem with fast fashion in general, is that they're producing products so quickly and for profit alone that they're not thinking about how everyone, including animals, are treated along the way. So that's one of the main reasons that I feel it's very important not to purchase items from fast fashion companies. People in my family still do. I'm sure my partner probably has in the past little while. It's a habit, and it takes a lot of education to want to change that habit. And me getting frustrated with people doesn't give them the space to be able to make the decisions themselves. It just makes them uncomfortable. So I think whether it's veganism or going green or any other sort of change you wish to see in the world, the absolute only way to have that change occur is by providing information, questioning what you already think and what those answers you've come up to for questions that you've been asking are, and being open to the fact that you could be wrong, because in every facet of life, in every belief, including religion and everything else, there is a possibility that you could be wrong. There is a possibility that the information you have isn't the best information available, that there are other options or other ideas, and that's how change comes, is because you take all these different ideas that have already been created and either align themselves with your own, or you expand them and come up with further thought and further education, which you're able to then share. And that, I believe, is how change is made. So let's be nice to each other on the internet, whether it's zero wasters or vegans or whoever. It's not positive or helpful or even good for your own soul to be writing negative comments to people. I've had a couple already, and I find it really, really weird and wrong. And I think if you have questions or concerns about things that I say or other people say, there are ways to voice those where it's an open conversation instead of a one-ended attack. So yeah, be kind to each other. I will make a video about lipstick, I guess tomorrow or the day after. And I'm wishing you a beautiful day.